It is the big breakfast. It's Clarsey, Matt and Kimber here. Do we need to say anything other than Mitch Johnson is in the building? G'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
We're well, mate. I mean, we're here to talk about the Sanitarium Weet Bix Triathlon coming to Perth in March. But other than that, good to see you, mate.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. And the Weet Bix Kids Triathlon, I went there last year as an ambassador, and I really enjoyed seeing the families that were there and the kids really enjoying themselves. So I guess my story is I remember being 9 years of age and going to a new school and being really shy and not really knowing anyone there. So I remember going to the back of the school and there was a tennis coach out the back called Mr. O, and I was just watching these kids play tennis, and he comes over to me. He goes, "Oh, do you want to come and have a try?" And I guess that's sort of from that point on, it was like just give things a try. And I think that's what Weet Bix try and do is have a little mini triathlon, get the kids out there, the families, and really enjoy themselves and have a bit of fun.
Well, and you say mini, but this course it's still quite an achievement. I mean, for the younger ones, a 75-metre swim, a 3-kilometre cycle and a 500-metre run. I'm already out. And you double that for the older kids. So everyone can give it a go. That they say it is achievable for the kids to have a try.
Yeah, it definitely is achievable. Watching it last year and seeing there was competitive kids and there was some that just went along just to see what it was about. I remember speaking to a 7 or 8 year old little boy, and he was saying that he just decided to come along and he didn't know anyone going to the event, and said it was really good. Like, he was really happy that he did it. And because I was at the finish line and watching these kids come in, and you see some like really charging in at the end, and then some were just had that struggle, and that reminded me a little bit of me at a young age as well, where you're sort of struggling a bit, but you can see that competitiveness there. I know it's not meant to be as a real competitive thing, but it's just to get out there and have some fun and really enjoy yourself and be active. But it does bring out that competitiveness, so it was good to see.
Yeah. And I like that story that you just mentioned about being included. We can get caught up in sport. This year's been pretty controversial in cricket and whatnot, and we lose sight of the fact that it is actually just about being out there, friendship, community, and being healthy. And we have to be reminded of that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly right. And it does remind you. And when I remember going through, my bad trots as a professional cricketer, I did have to remind myself that, it is just a game. Yes, we are getting paid this amount of money, and we're traveling the world, and we're doing this and that, and we're making all these sacrifices. But if you're not enjoying it, then that's not really worth it, I don't think. And that was probably part of the reason as well. I stopped playing cricket in the end. I finished last year. I played a bit of IPL cricket, and I felt like it was for the wrong reasons. I wasn't enjoying my cricket. So what's the point of playing if I can't enjoy it? So I think it's a great concept. I think they've been going for about 20 years now, and they've got a few new venues as well. I think Camden's coming up in New South Wales. They've got an event on the 24th of this month. So it's really exciting that it's grown so much, and there was so many kids at this event last year. So I'm expecting more again this year.
So this will be at Terry Tyzack again?
Yes, it's at Terry Tyzack, and it was a great place to have it, I think, and it was really well set up, and there was plenty of activities outside of that to do as well. Like I said, you saw a lot of families there and their little young siblings, really supporting and having a lot of fun there. So it is a really fun day.
Hey, John, cricket tragics are totally different to any other person on the planet, right? They're just obsessed, aren't they? Can you go anywhere, and I'm not talking about at home, can you walk at the back of the grandstand at Lord's or around a ground at India or Headingley, wherever, and not have people come up to you and talk to you? Must be almost impossible.
I mean, it sort of happens not every day, but if you go to India, it happens every day. Yeah, it happens almost every hour. Yeah. So you actually feel like a rock star when you go to India.
What do they call you? Because it used to be Mr. Gilly for Adam.
Oh, I get called all different names. It's Johnson. It's just Johnson, or it's Michelle. There's all different names. The barriers of the language and that, but it's really nice, and we've had some interesting experiences over in India actually, and where we've had our car pushed and with a crowd of people, quite intimidating, but at the same time, you're sort of like, I'm a bit of a rock star here, but it sort of gives your ego a bit of a boost, but. Look, they're really supportive and really love their cricket, and they're generally really friendly as well. So, yeah, it's something that I probably don't miss so much.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good to actually have your own time and your own space. So I am heading over to India actually next week, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes over there. I'm going over as a commentator, so you don't have that security of the team.
Right, yeah.
So it'll be quite interesting to see how I can get around, and hopefully I'm in the same hotel as the players and they get all the attention.
Yeah. Imagine living life as Virat Kohli.
Oh,
full on.
Yeah.
and I mean, you hear the stories of Sachin Tendulkar. He loves his cars and he has to drive at 3 a.m. in the morning because he can't leave his house. So I couldn't imagine doing that.
No. And so how's your family life now? How's Jess? I mean, we've seen this photo that you posted on Valentine's Day last week. We were just, thinking you're very young in this picture, but you don't really look all that different. But what did you two do for Valentine's?
Do you really want to know what we did? two young kids? Not much. It was... I actually said the day before, I said, I've forgotten that it was Valentine's Day tomorrow. It's actually her father's birthday.
Oh,
the same day.
Step
So
14.
so we actually went out to dinner with him, and that was pretty much it. I gave her some flowers, and it was a second sort of thought, and I don't know if she was that happy about it. But
thank God for them 24-hour servos.
Yeah, I know, it saved me, but I'm still waiting for my Valentine's gift.
Oh, okay. Well,
It happens. It works both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sure does.
And mate, as I alluded to before, it has been a very controversial 12 months in Australian cricket. And I mean, Classy and I are both, and Dan here, cricket tragics. We love it so much. Do you think it's a good thing sometimes for the sport to have a sort of an eruption like that, to things to settle and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather it not be in the circumstances of cheating, scratching the ball, and the way it happened. There's all this talk that it does happen, not to that extent with a piece of sandpaper coming out and scratching the ball, but look, it's not ideal, but it has shaken up Cricket Australia a bit. There's been guys coming in and out, and whether that's a good thing, I think it is. Getting some fresh players coming through now. We're starting to see some talent. So, look, I actually think with what's coming up, there's a World Cup, and I sort of agree with what Ricky Ponting said a couple of weeks ago. I think he said something along the lines of he thinks that they're a big chance of winning because other teams will be thinking, Australia, they're all over the place here.
Yeah.
So, and they've actually got a really good one-day side on paper, and the talent is there. So, if they get it together, I think they're a massive chance as well. And then they've got the Ashes that follows that. So England aren't playing very well. They've just been beaten by the West Indies in a few tests and one days, and they're starting to look not as good as what they probably thought they were. And then they've come out and said also their top three isn't settled. So look, I think it's quite interesting. I don't think we can take too much on what happened with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka are not very good away teams.
Not a good test, is it?
But there was some really good signs, and I think it's probably been a good thing what's happened, if you can say that. But it's just cleaned out a few people, and now we're getting on the right path, I think. It'll take time.
Yeah.
Sure. It'll still take time.
Mate, it's well documented that Dennis Lilly had a big say. He helped you in your career. You had lots of times with Den to help you through. Do you feel that you could be in that kind of role for a young West Aussie like Jai Richardson?
Yeah, I'm trying to get more involved in the game, to be honest, with coaching, and I'm really keen on it. So having that time with DK throughout my whole career from 17, and I still speak to him to this day. So and Troy Cooley as well was another big part, and they did a lot of work together and with me through my career, and they have with other players. So I mean, Troy Cooley's back in the spotlight now as I think for 2 tours. I think he's going to be the bowling coach.
He is, yeah.
But he's been the academy coach for a number of years now, the head coach. Very good technically, and learn a lot from Dennis Lilly. So that's something I'm definitely keen on. And I know Ryan Harris is working hard towards that stuff as well because he's a bowling coach at the academy. So, I think if you have that passion and you can put it out the right way, it doesn't mean necessarily I'm going to know everything about the game, but I do definitely have that passion and I have the experience. It's just getting it out there and doing some work and working with these young kids, and I think trying to I don't know, get the best out of them.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
you know what they're going through.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with. Sorry to cut you off,
No.
but I spoke with Mitchell Stark on a couple of occasions, and
Yep.
it was quite difficult because I was the media, and I
Yes.
was. It came out. I said how bad he was performing, and it was more about his body language, and I
Yeah.
wanted him to get up, and because a bowler, they bring that body language, they bring the atmosphere, they get the crowd going, they get the fielders going. So that's all I wanted from him, and I could see that he was sort of going through the struggles I did. So
Right, yeah.
I could see it so clearly, and it actually made me feel like, okay, I can give him some advice. If he takes it on board, great. If he doesn't, that's fine as
Sure.
well.
Yep.
And look, he's come out in that last test, and he bowled really well. But he still needs to keep working on it, and I want to help guys like that. So, I think it's funny because I never was a cricket nuffy.
Right.
I never really
yeah.
was into cricket, like even when I was playing it. I
Yep.
enjoyed it, but I wasn't one of those guys that went back to the rooms afterwards and watched cricket on TV. Like
You weren't obsessed with
I wasn't
it, but
obsessed
you're
with
just
it.
really good at it. That's the thing. Yeah.
They happened to be
Yeah.
good at it. So
Yeah.
whereas now, like I watch it, I'm like I'm into it. Like I'm so passionate about the game
Wow.
now, and yeah, it's really weird how it's changed.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Um,
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good. And those days, mate, watching those English batsmen, you must have seen some
Yeah.
fear in their eyes as they're walking out on occasion when you're in your purple patches.
yeah, well, it's something that gets brought up a fair bit. Did you see the fear, and could you smell the fear, and all that kind of stuff? And I don't know. I think you're just so in the moment that
Yeah.
you just roll with it.
Just want to get them out.
Yeah, and I guess my role in that team was so clear. It was just to go out there, bowl fast, bowl your short deliveries, set players up. I had an unbelievable attack with me with Ryan Harris and Peter Siddle and Nathan Lyon. So
Yeah.
those guys don't get enough credit for that, and they should, because it is a team sport. And even though we are individually, I'm the one with the ball in my hand at that time, we actually work together
Yeah.
at the end. So if Ryan Harris isn't bowling the way he should be, then it's not
Yes.
going to really help me. So
Yep.
it's partnerships, and I firmly, I sit here saying that because I believe it. And it wasn't all just me, but I did enjoy it, and especially the English, because I've copped so much crap from them over the
Yeah,
years. So.
of course.
That's all right. Our role at the time was just to not let anyone know that you were a nice guy, so that they thought you were
Yeah.
super menacing.
That's
we
why
feel
the-
like we achieved that.
Well, the Mo had to come out and make me a little angrier, I think, and it definitely helped. So I've looked back at footage when I had this with no
Oh, yeah,
facial
clean
hair.
shaven.
no
Clean
facial hair.
That's not scary.
You look a bit too nice.
That's not scary. How am I supposed to?
No, that's the
have
guy
a
you're
go at-
taking home to mum and saying, I'm going to marry
Yeah.
that
He's
guy.
a nice
That's-
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not striking,
Something like that,
striking
yeah.
fear in there.
Mate, I've actually got my son. He loves his ball sports and stuff, golf, basketball, cricket. He gets the stare going now, so
Oh, yeah?
he gets the ball in his hand. And he's like, "Oh, it's unbelievable!" I'm just like, it's like looking in a mirror.
The blue
Beautiful.
steel.
Yeah, the blue steel.
Chip up the old block. Good to
Yeah.
see you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy.